welcome to DnD. This is not Pro Jared coming at you with another bathroom vlog commentary. So I actually had to wait a little bit before I release this one. Just kind of have to, because you gotta understand, it's one of the things. So this is a continuation of my recent D&D vlogging. But you gotta understand, some fucking shit happened to me recently in that campaign, and I had to just gather myself so I could tell this story. So I'm gonna tell you the beginning and the end because that's actually plot relevant to plot for people who care. But where we left off, I came back to because I get off work and then I meet up everyone. So I get there a little bit later than everyone else. So the campaign had continued a little bit before I actually got there. You know, so I get there and they're in the middle of traveling on the road. There's Harshnag the Frost Giant that's standing along with us, and I just see a motherfucking large group of enemy NPCs just standing in front of us. And I'm like, it's a fucking bandit holdup, isn't it? And I sit down and I greet everybody, and I set up my character, and then the DM's like, and then okay, so the main enemy leader is rolling around 2 gems in his hand, with the two kind of like the rock stress ball stuff that you can just kind of just roll in your hands, and one of us does an Arcana perception check. It's fucking gems of summon elementals, so they can just summon. He has 2 of them, but for 2 different times. Yeah, he has 4. He has 4 in his hands. He's rolling them all. He's fucking. His hands, they're magic. I just don't know what the fuck else to say. He has huge hands. Huge. So we're lucky in the regards that there were 2 critical rolls from certain people shooting crossbows and arrows and shit. We managed to snipe 2 of them out of the air and shatter them before they can do anything. But combat begins with a giant earth golem and a giant fire golem elemental thing. So I'm like, oh, that's great. My character's squishy as fuck. Well, our heaviest hitter, the fighter, gets banished. Our second heaviest hitter, the paladin, gets banished. Which means for 1 full minute, 10 turns in game, they can't do anything. It's not a good situation for us. Somehow, with liberal uses of sleep, some lucky ass rolls, and some other crazy shenanigans, we managed to get away out of that on top. Their champion even tries to flee with one of their unconscious warlock, who was giving us the hardest fucking time. And I managed to roll max sleep as they were running away at level 4. So there's a bunch of 8-sided dice I can roll. They were all 8s, every single one of them. I fucking rolled all 8s. I don't know. I'm gonna die soon. I used up all my luck. So, turns out they're part of a dragon cult that's opposing us from the beginning. And they want to get away with their lives. So they offer us a deal. And the deal's pretty fucking sweet. So we go out there, and they have hidden away an airship. They're trading the airship and everything on it in exchange for lives. There's a lot of argument because a lot of us wanted to take the airship and kill them after anyway. But the GM kind of forces us to keep our end of the deal, which is fair, which is fine. I don't have no problems with that. So we have a fucking airship now, boy. We can fly anywhere. I want an airship in real life. That's what I want. Unfortunately, it's not like the super highest class version. It's like actually pretty basic as far as airships go. It's not just enchanted so that it can fly. It's just enchanted to be super light, and it has like a propulsion kind of thing, and a giant hot air balloon up top that helps keep it afloat. That's how it works. And that's great. So we move on to the next town, and it happens to be a dwarf settlement. And oh shit, I get a lot of shit here, boy. Firstly, I gotta point out a couple things. Firstly, we got a bunch of treasure from the ship, and there's a ring that nobody wanted, so I took. It requires attunement. You can only have 3 attunement items at a time, called the Ring of the Ram. So I now have Force Push, essentially. I'm a fucking Jedi Bard. Come at me, nigga. Fuck you. So there's a bunch of shopping. I happen to have a Drow longsword that a fellow player gave me, so that I'd actually have a decent weapon, even if only at nighttime. And I managed to sell that thing for fucking 6, almost 7 grand, because I started hawking it out on the streets. And all these dwarves are like, ooh, the fucking Drow. I hate them Drow. You got a Drow sword? I'm gonna fucking break it. Give it to me, I'll buy it just so I can break it and I can hang it on the wall. Talk about it while drinking with all my dwarf buds. Shit like that. So I'm like, okay, like, time to buy some shit. So now my character's all decked out and upgraded, like, and that's great. You know, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that feels really good. Like I got a really upgraded character. I got like a +1 shield. I got Elven Chainmail, which the DM is ruling that because I'm a half elf, just semi homebrew, that it counts as light armor instead. So I get full dex bonus from it. All that other, all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? I get a +1 rapier, I get some new daggers, and I even get a wand. And this wand is pretty fucking special, because it's a wand of magic missile level 9, which means every time I use it, I cast a level 9 magic missile, and it recharges every day for 1d6 +1. I had to borrow some money so I could actually afford that one. But moving on, I mean, the 6 grand from the Drow Longsword +1 really fucking helped for me. Really gear up. And because I'm under level compared to a lot of the other guys, because I joined late in the campaign, it's helping out a lot. So after that, late in the campaign, so that was the end of that Wednesday. Next Wednesday, Saturday's coming last. Next Wednesday, I come in, I'm a little late. We're in the middle of a fight. I help with the fight. It wasn't anything too special. Apparently they had gone through a bunch of barbarians. And now they're searching through a frost giant, like, religious location. Eventually, we get through everything. There's a crazy Indiana Jones fucking bullshit trap that fucks a lot of us HP-wise. But everything turns out okay. I end up burning 2 4th level spells. One of them for nothing, so fuck me. But we end up essentially getting this oracle that let us to talk to the gods of the giants. That's pretty fucking cool. We get 6 questions that we get absolute answers to, as far as the gods are able to answer. I mean, there's still some limits, like the guy that we're looking for, who we're trying to rescue and save, is being hidden from divination, so the gods don't know the exact location, because of course that's how it is. Fucking plot armor. And, you know, some other stuff. And there's a ghost of a dead frost hill giant there. No, cloud giant there. I think they were there to actually loot the tomb location. But essentially, they talk to the gods. That giant's father, who was told that he isn't capable of glory, and that his son is going to step out of his shadow, and the gods wanted the son to step out of his shadow and then achieve glory, essentially, something like that. so the dad kills the son and leaves in semi-grief, but he's also technically considered an evil character, while the son was considered chaotic good, or chaotic neutral, at least. But he has magic fucking golden plate armor. He has a golden breastplate armor. So it's +3. Really good medium armor without giving disadvantage to stealth. The best medium armor without giving disadvantage to stealth, +3. And I'm the only one who can use it, so it's my bitch. Yeah, so some good things have happened. Now, the good things don't exactly offset the bad things. So the Saturday, which is the in-between story, which is the real meat of what I'm getting to. So Saturday comes around, and I'm excited. This is what I thought was gonna be what happened on Wednesday, like going through the barbarians and shit, trying to get to the temple. That's not what happened. The DM decided that y'all need to learn your characters better. Nigga, I write stories and fanfiction and shit, and they're actually good because people actually fucking read them, and I feel really bad because I haven't really had the time to like work on those so much. The D&D and starting up D&D as a hobby is not helping. But putting that aside, he's like, okay, we're gonna do a challenge, right? You're gonna have none of your equipment. You're gonna go in there into this dungeon. And you gotta beat these two like evil infernal creatures at the end, and you gotta get through, right? And I'm like, oh, fuck. First of all, if I gotta learn my character, my bard isn't meant for. I chose Valor because my combat is super weak, right? But bards aren't really meant for combat, not necessarily. That's not their focus. I'm a support. And he took away our spells. We're allowed cantrips. There are 2 spell books. We can choose spells that we can use, but we don't have our spells. How the fuck am I supposed to learn my class better when I can't use my class and I'm a fucking shittier fucking fighter, dumbass? Gripes about that aside, we get towards the end, we fight a lich. I have a really good diss moment. I'm not gonna, whatever. But it was so good that the DM actually physically rolled a critical 1, and it happened to be just really good comedic timing, and it was a lot of fun. Because there was another bard with us, and he was using vicious mockery a lot. But it's just like, yeah, you stupid, and you doo-doo face. Look, for me, I think it was that, we were fighting a necromancer. They're constantly raising skeletons, and I was having none of it. I believe the actual quote was, "Yeah, nah, you became a necromancer because you wanted to raise the soul of your dead wife, but she never wanted you in the first place, bitch." I believe that was word for word what I said, and then on the wisdom saving throw, that as the DM roll a 1, which is a critical fail. So I rolled. Small nerdgasm moment aside. We're looking through all the treasure chests because we were allowed 8 chests where we can have non-magical items aside from the spellbooks that we decide what to take with us into the dungeon. He knows that this is my first group that I'm ever playing D&D with. That the DM knows this. So and we're also without equipment, at least our standard stuff. So we're kind of fumbling in the dark a little bit. So believe me when I say I didn't think this nigga would put a mimic in the dungeon. Guess who the mimic attacks? Yes. So I was off, everyone's resting and healing, and they're role playing that. But I started off, I was like, yeah, let's go get the last treasure chest. I said that to everybody. I said that. So, I'm expecting people to follow. So I go over to the chest, I sneak past the room where there's 2 frogs. I don't know anything about frogs. Fuck. frogs. Okay, because I go into the room, I get attacked by a mimic. That's not a problem. I'm like, oh shit! Like, I can't scream for help because I don't want to. Because there's another room that we know has a bunch of like orcs and like a bunch of ogres in it, and I don't want to attract their attention because it's pretty close by. And I'm like, oh shit! I make a saving throw, and I manage to break free, and now I'm dashing away. And the GM literally says, you know what? I'm gonna be a dick. He just retroactively changed something so he could fuck me. I'm like, dude, are you serious? And it's like, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal, he says. He moves a frog in front of me. He moves me back into the room, even after I had already made the action and gotten out. After he had acknowledged that. And then he puts me back in the room, next to the mimic, puts a frog right at the end of the hallway, and rolls. It's the only fucking critical 20 he rolled in that night. That day. Whatever the fuck. He hasn't rolled a 20 in 3 sessions, and that's the first time he decides to roll a 20. So apparently the frog gets to swallow me, and I can't do anything. I can't make a savings throw. I can't make a saving throw to break out. I can't make a dexterity throw to try and dodge the tongue. Apparently he decided that I just get swallowed. And there's nothing I can do. And now I'm in the water and drowning and no one's noticing what's going on because they have to role play as their characters. And I had to stop the game because I'm like, okay, look, I know that this is not in the spirit of D&D. I know that this isn't, whatever. But 2 things. 1, you retroactively fucking changed what happened to be a dick. So if you're going to metagame, I'm going to metagame too and say, this is my first fucking character. I actually put a lot of work into it. I like to put a lot of thought into it. And I actually really like this character. Okay? I don't mind if they die, if it's properly done and it's for a good story. But this is a challenge that you threw us out of nowhere. I'm not even a fighting type character. And you rolled a crit. I'm going to metagame and say that, I'm in the sake of saying that fuck you, I'm not going to take, I'm not going to accept my first character death to a fucking frog. So, it was a moment where I legitimately got mad. And it's fucking funny. And when you look at it from any other perspective, oh yeah, the fucking bard ran off and decided he's gonna look through treasure chests. And he told us, but we didn't pay attention to him because it's the bard. and then he gets fucking swallowed by a mimic and then swallowed by a frog. That's actually funny. But that's something I can laugh about out of character and after retrospect. That's not something that I can accept in the heat of the moment. So, that's whatever. And once we're... so there's a bunch of crazy shenanigans to rescue me. Eventually we get around to doing it, and it takes fucking forever. Literally, I was 3 turns away from permadeath. I made all of my saving throws, but I'm still underwater, and the frog is there, and I can't breathe, and all this other stupid shit. Not only that, but every time we decide to take a short rest in the dungeon, the DM negates that by throwing a fucking Archon of Fire that he modified so that it explodes in a fireball, but can also cast Fireball. Fireball is notoriously known as one of the most OP spells in D&D, and it's only level 3, which you can access super fast. So all my gripes and annoyances at this aside, we eventually get to the second final room where there's a bunch of spiders. No one wants to fight the spiders. Even when the paladin prays to their god and gets a perfect roll, the DM just tells her, don't fight the spiders. You don't want to fight the spiders. He doesn't tell her not to fight the spiders. He just tells her that you don't want to fight the spiders. So what they start doing is they start burning all the spider webs, and now the spiderweb floor that was supposed to get us to the next room is gone. Luckily, we have a dwarf with us who happens to be a death cleric, and my fingers are starting to get sore. I've been holding that for 20 minutes. Jesus Christ. So, he starts casting Stone Shape, and we're making ledges in the walls so that we can actually get to the next room. Spiders are attacking us while on the way, but we actually managed to get really lucky because the GM was at least kind enough to leave a couple of magic treasure chests. The items that were random, he ran a loot generator, and the other bard got something called the Pipes of Haunting. You can play it, they have to make a wisdom saving throw, and they're feared for a full minute, so they just run away, which is super useful for the spiders. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit one of the spiders, and they start being a dick to us in the middle of us trying to fucking get out. But whatever. And then we get to the final room. We've been hyping this up all night. We had found a quarterstaff +1. They have resistance to non-magical weapons, so I'm like, okay, well, I actually have proficiency in quarterstaff. Nobody else wants to use it. Even though I don't have bonuses in strength, I gotta be the one. And so we were all prepared for some crazy shit. And the DM was like, Kira's in, infernal, no, not Kira. The paladin has infernal heritage. And the monsters are like, we know you, we know you're gone. They're talking, and they're like, we're just gonna let you through. And I'm like, fucking God. The reason I went for the mimic chest was because we were trying to get every advantage that we could while trying to go for whatever. It had my sleep spell in it, so we had to get it. So we had to go, I had to go on my own. We had to fight the mimic again afterwards and get the sleep spell. And I had a whole plan set up in my head. We didn't get to do anything. Luckily for us, the last chest, there's another magic chest at the end as a congratulations, you beat the challenge. Fuck you. So we get to open that up at least. Most of it's just money. And because we didn't have any bags and because we didn't want to, have any stealth disadvantages, we hadn't really been picking up the actual loot as we went through the dungeon. My character is really broke from spending as much as she did in the dwarf town. So she was just kind of grabbing bits and pieces of coin here and there, stuffing them in her shoes, spreading them throughout the little hidden pockets in her clothes and in the seams of her clothing and shit like that, because she her backstory is that she's an urchin, she's spendthrifty, but she also has very little control when it comes to spending her money because she's never had a lot of money. So it's a little overwhelming for her, right? So that's a thing. There's a dancing greatsword in there. And the fighter had to leave near the end of the session. Not only that, but he already has 3 attunement slots, and he doesn't. And no one wants it, so I get it again. So that's 2 attunement slots for me. Luckily, the DM ruled that it's like whatever. You can make whatever dancing sword you want. So I get a rapier, so I get actual dexterity bonus. I accidentally fucking hit stop record instead of pause. So now I have to actually bother editing this. I didn't want to do that. I don't have the time. I was just gonna upload on YouTube in one go and just take care of the stuff afterwards. But whatever, we're here now. So, and I just wanted to leave it off on one note that my character is now Yondu from the Guardians of the Galaxy with force powers, because I have the Ring of the Ram, and that's force push. I have the rapier, which needs a command word, and if you just make that whistling, so just send the rapier flying around everywhere, piercing through everything. My character is female Yondu from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, that's a thing. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I'm Mary